Those who do evil to others, the killers, the rapists, psychos, sadists. You'll come to know me well. Frank Castle is dead. Call me the Punisher.
What's up? I saw this article and I felt compelled to do a video about it. Because in the past, I think people on our side of the fence would have seen things happen to others and would have walked on and said nothing. When I see something like this, I'm going to call it out, but I'm also going to laugh at it, and I'm going to give Mike an awful lot of support here through this video. And when I say that, he's not someone that needs support, let me tell you that, because I've had a numerous amount of interactions with him. I've been on spaces with him on Twitter, and I've also hosted him here on live streams on my channel, and I've talked to him as well privately. This guy I consider a friend, and he's a guy that I have to say has been absolutely 100% on the money when it comes to things over the last number of years. And again, I agree with him on an awful lot of things, and I take great admiration for his personal experiences that he has had himself when he has been overseas and he has been in different countries, and when he knows what's coming into this country and what will come into this country. So when I see images like these, I feel compelled to say something about it. Why do I feel that? Because I have seen people on our side of the fence be targeted and be dragged through the media. And the media have tried to do this over the last 6 or 7 months. They've tried to let people in on how they feel and how wrong it is to be a nationalist, to be a patriot here in this country, to love Ireland and believe that our country belongs to us. They have tried to drum that into you. Not only that then, but they've tried to, in a roundabout way, talk about people. But now they've had to get to this stage of the game where they have to try and identify people and highlight people. This is good for our side of the fence, and I will argue for that. And the reason why I'll argue for that is this: it's going to bring more eyes and more attention to this guy, which is important, and it's a good thing. The media are floundering right now. That's why they're writing stories like this. They're not writing stories about the rampant criminality that has been imposed upon us by our government, and the lack of borders, and the fact that Gardaí are being sent around the country to arrest our own people whilst people are coming into our country hand over fist. They're not writing about that. They think you're far right if you speak about that, and in that way, and in that context. So what I have to say, I find absolutely hilarious, is they've named the YouTube channel. This is great. This should see subscriptions soar, and if you're not already subscribed to Satirical Soldier, show him some support by subscribing to his channel and liking his videos and sharing his videos, because that's how you counteract these people in the media. As you'll see here, this article is written by Debbie McCann, crime correspondent. Now I'll just say to you before I continue on to this video, Debbie McCann, if you type her name into Google and you type in Maurice McCabe beside it, you'll get a number of interesting articles with regards to that. So have a look into that and see what you think about that. Not only that then, but she's been writing about Théo Benicio, the Brazilian guy who was, according to Warren Donoghue and his family, the second person in the Parnell Street incident. Fianna Fáil chose to run him as an election candidate, a guy that's from Brazil and is in here now in Ireland and is running an election. That's absolutely absurd, isn't it? But they wanted to, according to Warren Donoghue and his family, wanted to silence him and tell him not to talk out about anything. I find that to be very interesting. So Debbie McCann is someone who supports this Benicio guy and is saying that he was beaten by far-right members in the election. I think that that's quite something, isn't it? Now when you look at this article, we'll go into it now, and it says rise of the far right. You know, here's the thing, right? What these people inevitably end up doing is they make this side look cool. As far as I'm concerned, Mike Connell is like Marvel's The Punisher. You know what I mean? This is what they do. They just make people look cool, and that's the way you should look at it. We're facing off against absolute dweebs. That's what we're facing up against. We're facing up against goofballs in the media. Like, these people are all goofies. These are people that wouldn't have been picked in a five-a-side in school. They wouldn't be picked in a five-a-side now. Like, these are the individuals that we're dealing with. And people are slowly but surely, and I mean surely, recognising what we're dealing with here. They're looking at the establishment. They're looking at people that are in leadership positions in the government. You wouldn't follow them anywhere. But I tell you what, Mike Connell would get a lot of people following them, and this is why they're afraid. They're afraid of this. Chilling threat of far-right agitator who hosts Satirical Soldier platform. Notice that they didn't name the Twitter account. I think that that's quite interesting. I can't actually even show it up here above because YouTube will probably say that's not right. You can't write those things. But that's his handle. It's up there on Twitter. You know, everybody knows what it is if you're on this side of the fence. Platform which pushes ist poison online to 800 members, including 3 election candidates. And it says he is ready. Well, that's the sensationalism that the media like to go with. But let's read into what was said in the article, because a lot of people see the headline and don't look past it. But let's have a look into it. A prominent far-right agitator. Again, these people never define what far-right is, although I think it's quite interesting now that they're starting to link it to people. And that's what they're defining as far-right. Is that what the media is doing right now? Remember, Helen McEntee, she couldn't actually say nor define what far-right is. Who hosts a public platform where ist comments and inflammatory language are frequently posted, this week said he is ready to go in the event of a war. Now, I'm just going to point that out. They're talking about noises that are, and this is something that Mike Connell himself says, so I'm nicking this one you hear, Mike. These people are upset about noises that come out of your face, or black and white words that are written on a screen and posted to another person. That's what these people are upset about. They're not upset about, for example, big companies that have pushed out stuff over the last couple of years that have now got a very high percentage of people that are having issues. They've no interest in going back after the government or alleged medical practitioners that push that stuff. Weird that, isn't it? That's very strange to me. Mike Connell, who goes by the name Satirical Soldier and is a former member of the Defence Forces, also posted a picture of a boomstick on X, formerly Twitter, alongside claims that actions of Gardaí and members of the Defence Forces constitutes treason. You're going to argue against that though, are you? That's what you're going to do next. Oh no, you didn't do that. Oh, okay. Does anybody disagree with that point? Let me know down in the comments. If you agree with the point, let me know down in the comments as well. Consequently, he said, the people of Ireland must secure the right of it with respect to freedom of speech. If one's right to speak is removed, then all one has left is to do something about it. I think that's, when you're looking at that then, like this person here in the article seems to me, and again, I am only looking at this and I am giving my opinion on this, it seems to me they're arguing for government overreach. Do you not think so? Let me know down in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe you could say something to me and say, hey, listen, Ninja, I don't agree with that. Or maybe you might agree. With freedom of speech, if one's right to speak is removed, and I will not live peacefully in this country if ownership of my tongue is seized. You see, this is the difference between, I suppose, Ireland and the Americans. And whilst the Americans have their faults, and listen, they do, one and two things that I love about America is the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. These are fantastic things. But as you'll notice, they're trying to do away with those things in America, and they're trying to browbeat people constantly in America about loving those things. And now media worldwide is starting to get the geeks up them now when they're going, other people are seeming to have the same idea here. They're starting to not like the weebs calling people names like far right, and they're not taking any sort of stock in our opinions at all. They're mocking us, they're laughing at us, they're just pointing and laughing. And not only that now, but they're also thinking, well, if push comes to shove here, things look dodgy. The Galway man hosts a public group on the social media website Telegram with more than 800 members. I mean, are they not? Are you not promoting Satirical Soldier at this point? If anybody isn't subscribed to him right now, make sure you do. Let's keep going here through this absolute travesty of an article. He has been pictured with one far-right election candidate, and they failed to name that person, of course, there, which is hilarious to me. And his messages have been reposted by others. Oh, guys, you've been sharing what Satirical Soldier's been saying. Oh, very naughty. The media are saying, Debbie's saying you're naughty. Let's keep going here. A source who monitors the far-right activity in Ireland. Now, again, remember we were talking about this recently as well, where they set up the likes of Commission Naman and all these other ridiculous NGO lefty things that go around stalking people. I don't like what he's posting online. He's far-right. Pure degenerates, like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. We're dealing with people now that have absolutely no stake in society going forward, and absolutely do not think that they are wrong. We are dealing with cult members on the left. This is what we're dealing with. And these people sit around. I wonder how many people have been awakened by this stuff. If you're a leftist or a former leftist and you've been woken up by this stuff, by these people recommending it, and loads of people do get woken up by it, let me know down in the comments. I think that would be hilarious. So we'll move on. A source who monitors the far-right activity in Ireland said the line between right-wing politics and fascist behaviour is becoming worryingly blurred. Now, you will find that the people that will cry fascism the most and say, that's fascist, will be the same people that think handing over our money, hand over fist, to countries like, for example, the blue and yellow flag waving country, no problem at all, that's no issue. They will also think that an open border policy is absolutely fine. They will think that the government having ownership of your tongue, as Satirical Soldier has been saying, is no problem. They'll also think that taking you to the side and saying to you, you need to wear a mask for the sniffles, and not only that, then you also then have to take this stuff that's only been conjured up and we don't have any long-term study on it. And not only that, then why you're a fascist for asking that you should have long-term studies with regards to this. Just take the stuff, it's good, we said so, career lawyers said so. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with people using words that they don't understand. Fascist. And the left have the gall to call you that. I have to say this, I think people like Mike Connell, for example, Satirical Soldier here, has been advocating for nothing but freedom and has been advocating for nothing but the defence of Ireland. This man should be hailed as a hero. Instead, the media are trying to drag him through the mud. It's not working anymore, it's done. Nobody cares what the left say. I'm only doing this video because I want to make sure that everybody knows that this guy is a good guy. And not only that then, but also to mock and laugh at the media. Because I enjoy doing that. Video on YouTube in which he verbally abused Fianna Fáil TD Cathal Crowe. Again, they don't go into that too much either. He also told the Clare TD not to be surprised that people who are willing to die for Irish freedom do something that might be frowned upon. He finished the video with the sound of a boomstick noise. That's what he does with all his videos though. Like, I mean, this is the thing. These people have no qualms with, like, picking up little details and running with them and saying, oh, look what they're doing. Meanwhile, you know, pot and kettle here is what I would say. Last month he targeted Mr. Crowe again, posting, I find it hilarious you think you won't be held accountable for your role in the legislation of discrimination of the unvoldemorted, lockdowns, fascism, the criminalisation of free speech, open borders, etc. Your day will come to pay your debts, Crowe, mark my words. Does anybody disagree with that? You know, like, this is the thing. The media are trying to compel you to agree that this is a nasty thing to do. I mean, not so long ago, and just going back on it, there was people in government and in the Shannon and in the Dáil that were arguing for you not to be able to go to the supermarket, to be able to feed yourself, to be able to go to work, to be able to fund your lifestyle and your livelihoods be taken away, just because these people thought, well, there's a bit of a sniffle on, went on a gap year, it did the flu, you know what I mean? But these are who these people are, and they want you to forget these things. And you might think that I'm harkening back to these things constantly, but I am, because the important thing to know is that they've done all of this, and now they're trying to turn around and say that other people are the bad guys. It doesn't work like that. People are done with it. Asked about Mr. Crowe's 2022 Garda complaint against him, Mr. Connell said there was no communication, absolutely nothing, with respect to that useless effing complaint based. Up near him would go up in flames immediately, adding, just a gut feeling, Mr. Connell replied with stifled, or is it stifled? Who knows at this point in time? I'm only joking, it's stifled laughter. Laugh emojis. The former soldier who spent 21 years in the Defence Forces said he left the army because he was surrounded by soldiers who agreed with the erosion of civil liberties. He said he's an admirer of the US Constitution, specifically the First and Second Amendments. Now, just to go back on that point about the erosion of civil liberties, he's absolutely spot on with that. Because we all know, and this is the thing that the article, when they call things misinformation, what they are looking for you to do is to misinformation. So, for example, they're looking for information for you to miss. Now, what I mean by that is, they don't want to talk about the Health Preservation Act, for example. They don't want to talk about how it was deemed possible for people that suspected you of having the sniffles, for law enforcement to enter your home and to remove you from said home and to put you in some sort of camp. These are all things that happened. These are very real. And when he's talking about people being held accountable for these things, I don't think anybody disagrees with that. I'm someone that didn't take the stuff, and here I am still a number of years later, and I'm fine. That's weird, isn't it? What about all the other people that did? Seems to be a lot of people out there with strange illnesses, and not only that, then seems to be people that are no longer with us, very much so suddenly. So I think that one's you. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about that. So again, we should just put aside the thoughts of a man that has had 21 years of service in the defence forces about what's going on in the country and what is going to happen to the country, and put that aside because little old Debbie thought that that's not nice. Your tone of voice is not nice. The things you say are not nice. Oh, stop. We're dealing with some very, very seriously, and I will say, strange people, to keep it as it is. Mr. Connell told the MOS, "Our defence force is an extension of the government, not a force to protect Ireland. I learned people must secure the right to bear arms," he replied, "because I believe people should be prepared to act in ways that are unthinkable to defend what they hold dear. The volunteers of 1916 are to be admired." Now, of course, then that part of it there covers it, obviously, and it says, asked why he posted the content, he says, because we live in times where rations are possibly necessary. What are you going to do to protect loved ones? And again, we have people that need to be protected, and we do need to protect our loved ones, and that's ultimately it. The government and the media as a whole wants you to cast people aside that you love, that you hold dear, and for you then to worship the cult of the government, the media, the NGO sector, and the left. This is what they want. They do not want dissenting voices. So as I said at the beginning of this video, Mike reminds me of a Marvel character, and that Marvel character is the Punisher. And the Punisher is someone that has a very set morals and very set ideals and principles, and he's someone that is absolutely beholden amongst most Marvel fans. Most Marvel fans will regard him as a character that is just a man, but his ideas, his ideology means so much more. And how do I know that, and why do I liken him to the Punisher? Well, over the last couple of years, what the left have done is they have infested places like Marvel Comics, and they have indeed tried to turn the Punisher inside out. They have tried to take away his skull emblem, and they have tried to remove Frank Castle, who is the Punisher. Now, why would they do that? Well, they do that because they fear that his message is resonating with people. They fear that they think that people will find Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, to be someone that is to be placed as a hero, is what I'm going to say. They feel that someone like Frank Castle, the Punisher, is someone that people might get behind, that they might realign with and say, hang on, things have gone really wrong here, and we understand what the Punisher is doing. And again, he's a fantastic comic character. And indeed, the movie with Thomas Jane is one I'm a big fan of, because if you haven't seen that movie, make sure you do check it out. It is a fantastic movie. And what happens to that man is he is wronged, and he sets upon righting that wrong with punishment. And he has a number of quotes in that movie that I think are absolutely fascinating. Back on Mike Connell here. Mike Connell is a good man. He's a man that stood up for his country, that continues to stand up for his country. He's a very eloquent man that speaks on YouTube, and if you're not following him already, as I've said regularly throughout this video, make sure you're following him and subscribe to him there on Satirical Soldier. He totally deserves it. Make sure you're across here on Twitter and following him over here, because what these people on the left and the media fail to understand is, and to be honest with you, they don't understand humour. They don't have a sense of humour, a lot of them. And they don't understand what it's like to be in a group circle of people that might not have a boundary to the humour. And the boundary to the humour is with these people. They think something that you say might be offensive. You know those people, you know that person that you don't want to be hanging around with or going to the pub with, or it might be a family member. It might be a friend of a family member. It might be something like that, that they're just that person that you just don't want to have anything to do with. That's who these people in the media, the NGOs, the left and the government are. You're dealing with a guy here that most people would have no qualms with going around to the pub and having a couple of pints with, or a few tins on a hot day, as he likes to say himself. The fact that the media have come out and tried to attack a man like this and tried to make him disassociate from other people and to make people disassociate from him shows to me that his message is powerful, his message is working, and his message is inspiring. And there's one thing that these people don't like, and that's inspiration. Think about that. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments. As I've said multiple times here during this video, Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you like the video because that's very important. Make sure you share the video, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I'm not even going to say just to my channel, but to this channel of Satirical Soldier. And I'll talk to you later. Good luck.